Hello gamers from around the world. This is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to the first episode of the World of Gaming podcast. Yeah, this is something brand new that I would like to start here on my YouTube channel. It's a weekly show airing each and every Friday at this exact time, where we break down what happened over the course of this week. We talk about games, news, technology, and everything gaming related. Yeah, the world of gaming is going to be a show, of course, with me, Boxenberger, and friends. And I already see a lot of friends here in chat. Big shout out to you guys and a big welcome. But it's, of course, everyone also who listens after the fact here. And I have a very special guest here in the show today, my very good friend, Wandering Dutch. I get to you in a second, my friend. I first want to wrap up the introduction of the show itself. I will have changing guests here on this show each and every week. I would like to keep the panel of this podcast relatively small so that we can touch on more topics than maybe a podcast with a bigger panel can. And I want to bring that all in a convenient format lasting 60 to 90 minutes, depending, of course, on the topics and the discussions we are having. So it's easy to fit the world of gaming into your daily life. If you want to listen after the show, you can do that, of course, on demand here on YouTube, and we will see where else this show will appear in the future. So yeah, let's see how that goes. But enough blabbering from my side. I want to give a big shout out again to everyone who's in chat. I already see a lot of awesome people here. Big shout out to everyone. Then, and of course, I would like to welcome Wandering Dutch now here to the show. My first guest. I wanted to have someone that I really consider a close friend and who I am familiar with. We podcast together for how long now? 2 years almost. Yeah. We know each other. He's the host of the Midweek Mixer podcast, airing each and every Wednesday. And I'm glad you took the time here to join me today. So to premiere the world of gaming. So how you doing, man?
Yeah, it's awesome, and obviously honored to be the first guest on the show. It's going to do big things. I know it is. I know you're going to have an absolute killer roster of guests coming up in the next few weeks and months ahead. And it is going to be awesome, keeping it nice and tight knit, and just one-on-one with people, and it's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely honored to be here, brother. Thank you.
No, thank you so much for joining me here today. And again, welcome everyone who is in chat. We already have like 30 people watching here live. That's awesome for the premiere especially. And the first super chats are already coming in. Can't thank you enough, guys. You rock big time. The first comes from Gone Mad. Hit that like button and share to all you peeps. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Then we have Jay already sending in a super chat for €5. Hit the like button. Yeah, guys, let's start the show and see if people like it before they hit the like button. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Mr. Joanno Dark writes in. Let me just see where's this. There's a button here where I can throw the comments on screen. Here it is. Congratulations to Boxenberger and hello to my hero, your excellent guest, the Wandering Dutch, aka the Destroyer of Dan Stapleton. Yeah, we've seen that on Twitter, and we get to that in a second. And then we have Smitty Smith with an outstanding super chat of $20. World of Gaming kicks off today. Salute to the superstar. No, salute to you, brother. This is really awesome. And he also, So there we go. Thank you, guys. That's the generosity is awesome. Appreciate it, really. But let's kick this show off. I want to start before we get into the big news of the week. I mean, come on, guys. What better week to start a gaming podcast than this week? Yeah, I know everyone wants to talk about. I chose well.
It was a good idea.
Yeah, I've seen someone on Twitter saying that Phil did that intentionally just as a gift to me. So I don't know about that, but it kind of feels like it. Yeah, we will get to that, the big news in a second. I want to start the gaming podcast, of course, with a little bit talk about games, and I just wanna briefly have a look what games actually came out this week. We had a couple of smaller releases like Shadow Man Remastered came out, Nobody Saves the World, River City Girls, Wandering Dutch's big favorite, Pooperazzi.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know Jay is also playing that in chat. And a couple of other smaller ones. The bigger ones, I think, that everyone played before the big news drop was definitely the God of War release on PC. And we had just yesterday the release of Rainbow Six Extraction and some awesome additions to Game Pass as well with Death's Door and the Hitman trilogy. So have you been playing any of these games, Dutch?
I haven't as yet, actually, because the A, B not work, and then B, I was helping Erwin create his video, and then doing a little bit for my video, and then podcasting. But I have downloaded the Hitman trilogy because I haven't played the third one yet, so I'm looking forward to jump onto that. And I've re-downloaded Red Dead Redemption 2 to play that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we're all hoping for a patch, a next gen enhancement patch on that one.
I mean, we can dream, but it's
we can dream. They will sell that as a super duper next golden edition or whatever.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard mixed things about Rainbow Six Extraction as well. So
yeah, I've downloaded that. I didn't want to play it solo, and I simply didn't have the time yesterday to play it with friends. I plan to do that over the weekend, hopefully with some of you guys in chat. I also started Hitman. I downloaded that. I played but only like an hour or so earlier.
Yeah.
It's my first Hitman game since what was the one called on 360? The last one that was released on the 360 was the last Hitman that I played.
That's probably as long as the last time I played it as well, to be honest. I haven't played a Hitman for a long time.
Yeah, and I played like the tutorial and the first mission earlier, and I don't know whether the game is for me yet. I have to play a little bit more.
Yeah.
Then I just finished Firewatch the other day. Have you played that?
I haven't actually. I've what it is, years ago. I remember seeing it when Firewatch originally released.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing people play it, and it looked intriguing. And then you might not have seen it, but there was a film that was pretty much based on the same thing with.
Oh, really?
Angelina Jolie.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and it's essentially it's exactly the same thing. She's in a tower, Firewatch tower in the middle of a forest, and then this kid's father knows too much and gets murdered, and then he's running through the forest, and she comes across him, and then it unfolds, but it's all about kind of what goes on in this forest and figuring out what's going on and what's happening and things. So. I'm looking forward to playing it because I've heard great things about it. And again, it's a story game.
It's super story driven. Yeah, it's really a walking simulator. That's a game that definitely deserves the name. Nevertheless, the game starts incredibly strong. It really hits you. The first 10-15 minutes really hit you hard, and they set up a great mood for the entire game, and I really enjoyed it. And I want to bring up this comment here from Mr. Joanna Dark. What did you think of that ending? Yeah, that was actually the ending was a little bit underwhelming because it started really strong, and then there was this great story twist in the middle, and but the ending I felt kind of underwhelmed. Still, it's definitely worth a playthrough. It's in Game Pass, so I highly recommend that. Yeah. So what else have you been playing?
I wish I could have said I've been playing Age of Empires 4, but we both haven't been online to play Age of Empires 4, so I haven't been playing any of that. But yeah, mostly at the moment Forza Horizon 5 because I'm creating quite a bit of content on that.
Nice.
I do want to. I think say over the weekend and probably tonight as well. I'll be playing with a few people, but I want to get into Hitman. I want to play Rainbow Six, see if it's any good, and probably play Nobody Saves the World, that new indie game as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Very cool, very cool. I've downloaded Rift Breaker, but I haven't started yet. I'm planning to do that over the weekend. So the kids are sleeping over at their grandparents. That's always a good time to play some games. The wife is going out with the ladies, so gotta have some me time tomorrow evening.
Free time.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Have you played God of War on PC yet?
I have not. That's one I haven't downloaded as yet. No,
Yeah, me neither.
I'm still, you know what it is, as much as it probably runs beautifully and looks beautiful and is the best version of that game that'll ever be.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm not pulling the trigger is because I have platinumed it on PlayStation 4 Pro, and I know that game inside out, and it would just be, at this point, buying it just to have the prettiest version of it, as opposed to
same here.
to play it. Because I wouldn't, I've got no reason to play through it again, because this, and to me, I've spoke on this before, but the story doesn't hit the same the second and third and fourth time around.
True that. Yeah, I played through God of War earlier in 2021 when that next gen patch came out. I had my playthrough on the PS5, and so I didn't want to play through it again because that would be like my fourth playthrough then. I think that's really enough. I'm waiting for Ragnarok at the end of this year. Yeah. All right. Before we get into the big news topics of the week, I would like to read out a couple of other super chats that came in. One comes, well, actually, it's not a super chat. It's a comment because he's a channel member for 8 months now. Smitty Smith again. He writes in and says, "Yeah, boy, salute to Boxenberger, Wandering Dutch, and the world of gaming." Yeah, cheers to you, brother. Then we have Fat Boy Horror sending in a £5 super chat. Been looking forward to this. Surprised it took you this long. Yeah, it's something I really had in mind for a long time to do. Many in the community approached me, "Hey, why don't you do your own show?" Simply a matter of time, but I figured this was the right time to really do it. I'm excited to bring you each and every week kind of a bit of different podcast format, smaller, shorter, more condensed conversations, covering a little bit more of the news topics than some of the bigger podcasts with bigger panels. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to do that, and I hope we can have these kind of interactions also with the community here. That's definitely something I want to do. Hertog writes in a €5 super chat, "Pineapple Pizza Broody, good luck on the show, and auf Wiederschnitzel." Yeah, pineapple
have you got
on
that,
pizza.
Have you got that timeout placard beside you?
I did not came prepared. Yeah, usually, for those who don't know, on the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, I have a timeout card for Vin when he says stuff like that. So, thank you for joining me here.
With that pineapple on pizza nonsense, Vin.
All right, guys. Let's talk about Activision Blizzard. I think that's the biggest news item that happened in gaming for a long, I mean really a long time. And to celebrate that, let's have a look at some gameplay while we talk here. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, I'm not so quick just yet as these professional podcasters here, but I got overlays to watch. I get a hang of it. I just let Diablo 2, the remake that came out last year, run a little bit here while we have some Activision Blizzard discussions. It's been like 4 days now that we know of this, and it's been the topic everyone talked, not just on social media, but on YouTube, everywhere the discussions were.
National news, everything.
National news, a lot of stock trading media outlets talked about this. Just really briefly before we get into some specifics, your overall thoughts on this big move. What are your thoughts?
It's a massive move, and it's obviously a show of intent on. And I don't think it's a show of intent specifically from Phil. I think it's a show of intent from Satya Nadella and Microsoft in gaming. Specifically, if you have a look at where they used to be, and everyone knows the kind of start to life Xbox have had in general. If you haven't, and you still haven't seen the documentary, please go and watch the documentary on YouTube about the start to life from Xbox, because you'll see that it wasn't as clear cut and as easy as people normally think. The Xbox never was kind of starting on great grounds, because it didn't really have the backing of the hierarchy all the way through. And at some stages, it was obviously destined to nigh on fail, until, of course, Phil Spencer was promoted throughout, and started to turn the ship around and got the big guys on board. And this is the latest show of intent. Bethesda, of course, was massive. When we remember when that one got announced, the $7 billion that was announced for, we thought, Jesus, that is a big sum of money.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was
Yeah.
it was
And this is 10 times
one
that.
of the biggest acquisitions to date in gaming. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is 10 times that, and it was only a week
Yeah.
after Tencent purchased Zynga
Yeah.
for $13 billion. So, and again, that is massive.
Absolutely.
So it is, when people were saying it's acquisition season, it actually is. But the thing about acquisitions, specifically of this nature and this size,
Mhm.
is that they take time. They take severe time, and I think a
long
lot
time.
even a lot of the insiders as well over the last few days. I've seen Shepsel Nick as well. He, bless him, because he put a post out probably about a week, if not less, than the announcement, saying, "Don't inbox me about Take-Two, Activision, EA, or Ubisoft takeovers, because they are never happening."
Yeah.
Of course, lo and behold,
Yeah. True that.
68.7 billion acquisition later.
And
No, it's
and
insane.
that's just a pure amount. Yeah, you have to probably add another 5 billion for all the legal fees, the lawyer costs, the regulation costs, and so
I've
on.
seen a quote. I think I've seen a quote in Financial Times or Bloomberg or something along those lines. The total acquisition fee could rise to something like 75 billion.
Yeah,
when all said
I've
and
read
done. So
something
it's actually
similar.
much
Yeah,
larger. Yeah.
yeah.
The in terms of and we'll probably get more in depth into it, but my initial reaction was well behind everybody else, because I didn't check my phone at all until like 5 o'clock, 4:30 when I got in the house. And then I was like already 2.5 hours after everybody else that had noticed.
That is.
I seen it. I was like,
That
"What
happens.
is going on?" And the
Yeah.
phone was just blowing up. There was live streams going on. There was podcasts. There was multiple news articles. And every DM that I possibly part in on Twitter was just absolutely rampant with conversation. So yeah, it literally just baffled me. I think when I first read it, I just laughed. I just thought, what? Like, that is a ridiculous sum of money. And I don't think anybody expected Activision Blizzard to be acquired by Microsoft in any way, shape, or form. And it's just even now you think, like, how did they even come to that? Like, how did it come to the point? I know when Phil said we're reviewing our we're reviewing our relationship with Activision Blizzard. We have no more to say on that.
I think everyone thought. Everyone thought when we read that quote, that has something to do with the sexual misconduct and everything that happened, the harassment and all the awful things.
I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking they're going to stop like promoting their games and stop like
exactly no advertisement deals or marketing deals anymore, something like that. I did not think of this at that point. So now we are that the initial dust is settling down a little bit, and I want to get into something that Phil Spencer tweeted out yesterday evening, about 24 hours ago. And he said something. Hang on, where do I have the quote? Here. He wrote on Twitter, I had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationship. That was what Phil Spencer put out on Twitter. Today, every major news outlet that I visited and looked at had a headline something along the lines of Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation. Call of Duty is not going to be an Xbox exclusive. I know we had some discussions yesterday evening while I was already, it was 11 p.m. and I was already in bed. The missus was sleeping next to me already and we were texting about this. Yeah, let us know your thoughts. What do you make of this statement from Phil, and do you think that Call of Duty is going to be on PlayStation? What are your thoughts here?
Yes. So we have spoke about this. I desire to have this great conversation with you, Broody. Yes, Bearzad, if obviously not everybody's on Twitter all the time and might not see in the news, but yes, they have purchased Activision Blizzard. I know it's insane.
It's insane.
But yes, the statement is perfectly legally written. It is legally written, so it's just inconspicuous enough to cover all angles, so that they can't say it isn't coming and they can't say it is coming. Essentially, the way it reads to one angle is that Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation going forward. On the other angle, however, which is where the legal wording comes in, it simply states that all contractual obligations will be upheld naturally, just like the Bethesda deal. So everything that's already in the pipeline will continue. And that's great anyway for Microsoft to do that, because at the end of the day, if people don't realize, they do have the financial power to just buy out those agreements if they so wish to. There are release clauses in those contractual obligations, much like there isn't any contractual obligation. Even this particular acquisition, if it should fail and get knocked back for any reason, Activision Blizzard get $3 billion compensation. So there is fallbacks on everything. The final wording there is the bit that we all kind of joked about, and it is the desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. This is where it becomes a little bit tricky, and this is where it becomes a little bit more who's doing what and who will get what. But the way I read it specifically is that, and much like the previous deal with ZeniMax and live service games there, Warzone is Call of Duty. Warzone is live service. Call of Duty remaining on PlayStation means Warzone is on PlayStation. Contractual obligations will be upheld. It does not state future title. Yeah, it does not state anything about future titles being created by Microsoft specifically will be on the platform. However, they have already said previously, and will always retain, that any live service communities will ensure that the games remain there. Now, the live service community is Warzone. Call of Duty, as much as you would like to believe, are a live service. They are annual releases, and as such are not live service. Even if you get an expansion or a DLC for it, that's not a live service. That's just a game with a DLC. Unfortunately.
True.
So the way I read it, it's very legally done. And again, unfortunately, I know you hate the ambiguous messages. But PlayStation really have got scared by this. They mentioned something similar by the ZeniMax deal, and obviously Starfield when that came out, and they were like, we have no idea whether or not we're getting that game anymore.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not. However, this is a little bit different because this financially, rough estimates, costs them almost £250 million a year in revenue.
Yeah. Yeah, because just to put that in perspective, it is each and every year the best or the second best selling PlayStation game, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It has a massive player base over there. That's no doubt. So definitely that will hurt them financially more than a Starfield not coming to the platform. Yeah, because that's an active IP where they have a certain fan base that is now probably mitigating over to Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I would say as well is now, and this is another thing, and I did mention this before, and I've put a status up about this as well, is Sony, specifically for the likes of Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, and Final Fantasies, have been used to pulling the strings and dictating what they want from an exclusivity deal, essentially getting ahead of the horse, always getting the exclusivity on those major titles, and essentially locking them into their platform, whether it be getting early releases or first plays or early DLC. They get something always first on the platform, so it always makes even early releases on the platform essentially is as good as having it as an exclusive, because by the time everybody wants it, they've already bought it in the place that they can play it first. Impatient people buy it on the platform that comes out on first, and that's as simple as that. So we know that.
True.
As soon as it's out, like, it's
and once you have your community built there, you stay there, and that is that is why I think it was in 2016 or 15 or 16 when Sony announced that Call of Duty is now the home. Pardon me, that PlayStation is now the home of Call of Duty. So yeah. I mean, let's get 1 second again to the statement of Phil. It's kind of weird for me that he put out a statement like that only 3 days after the official announcement.
I think what he did is because the statements went out publicly from PlayStation's specifically saying if those statements hadn't come out publicly saying we trust that Microsoft will keep Call of Duty multi-platform. If that
they didn't just say Call of Duty. That was the interesting thing about the phrasing from Sony. Exactly. They said specifically, we expect Microsoft to keep Activision Blizzard games multi-plat. And that is a bold statement.
Like, you know what it is? It's really strange because I really don't know why Sony would expect them to do that.
Yeah.
If the shoe was on the other foot, and let's be absolutely brutally honest here, if the shoe was on the other foot, Sony would be relentless. They would be ruthless, and they would have those locked down to exclusive without an eyelid battered for anybody.
Yeah,
we've seen this already with Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is now on year 2.5 of being extended into exclusivity. Then you've also got Final Fantasy XIV, which is still nowhere in sight, and apparently that's still in discussion. I don't know what discussions are required for that to be 2 years 2 years later. It's like insane. And now, of course, and obviously they had Call of Duty locked down it pretty much infinitely. They've had their marketing deals and continue to make these ridiculous marketing deals. For instance, for Spoken for 2.5 year exclusivity.
Final Fantasy 16.
What by the time it comes out, most people would have forgotten about it on Xbox. So and you would have already associated that as being PlayStation exclusive, and the player base would have already played it. The game would have been entirely spoilt for those that usually play on Xbox. So the actual enjoyment of it just significantly goes down. The hype of it disappears as well because that game's been out years already. It's just on another platform, so it's not a new game. So and that's what they continue to do. So if she was on the other foot, Sony would have undoubtedly made this exclusive. So their statement in itself was baffling to me. I don't know why we would expect that. the thing for them as well is they care more about Call of Duty than their mascots. They're not once mentioned we want to have on these phone calls to Phil. His specific statement was Call of Duty. They didn't. They obviously weren't bothered about Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, which are absolute mascots.
Yeah. I have that actually as a topic for planned out for a little bit later. What IPs are we actually talking about? Because I want to put a twist on that. We get to that in a sec. Let me briefly put out my thoughts about this tweet from Phil. When we think about about how they spoke about the Bethesda IPs prior to before the deal was officially sealed, they said that they will decide that on a base to base, depending on the game, whether it's going to be exclusive or not. Once the deal was sealed, they said specifically that they will honor all contracts, but from there on out, everything else is going to be Xbox exclusive or exclusive to where Game Pass is. The weird thing about this tweet here is that it leaves so much room for speculation. I mean, I've said it directly after the announcement in my video that of course I expect the same that applied to Bethesda to apply to Activision Blizzard games. Existing contracts will be honored, and from there on out, new games will be Xbox ecosystem exclusive. Now, with this statement, Phil left a lot of room for speculations, and because when you look at Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, everyone is reading that tweet the way he or she wants the outcome to be. People that want it to be exclusive read the tweet that it is going to be exclusive. Others read it like, no, it's definitely staying multiplat. And I've seen every media outlet now saying Call of Duty is going to be multiplat. I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Definitive. The one thing it isn't is that statement does not confirm anything. I've seen Jeff Keighley, for instance, saying Microsoft confirm, and I was like, no, it doesn't confirm a thing, does it?
It doesn't. It doesn't. He speaks about his desire, and you know how it goes with desires.
We have loads of desires.
We have lots of desires.
What are
your desires? But the thing is, let's assume PlayStation has a marketing deal with Call of Duty for the next probably 2 years or something, maybe 3 years. We don't know. So 2023, 2024. Let's say 2024 is the last Call of Duty on PlayStation, and then they go exclusive. Everyone will pull out this particular tweet and call Phil a liar. And that is what surprised me so much about this statement. It leaves so much room for speculation, for biased media to have clickbait articles and so on. And that is what surprised me about this, because usually they are a little bit smarter about this. Either they just stay silent and do not talk about it, then you have like speculations for the next couple of months until they can officially speak on that. Because right now they are simply not able to really speak about their entire plans. But yeah, at this point, I didn't see the necessity for that tweet. But no matter what they do, they will pull out this tweet and call Phil a liar. And yeah, that's just how it goes.
The thing with that tweet is you can't call him a liar for any angle that you take it at, because he's being that ambiguous. He can't be called anything, which is why he did the tweet in the first place. It can't be called out because it's true for both angles. If you want it to mean one thing, then it means that thing. If you want it to mean the other thing, it means that thing. What we think will happen, and what actually happens is probably two different things. And the discussions between PlayStation and Microsoft will be very different, because PlayStation are no longer in the driving seat for this now. With it, when it closes, that's a Microsoft IP. They can't demand terms like they did with Activision. It'll be Microsoft within driving seat going, right, well, you want Call of Duty, so what are you offering?
My initial thoughts were, when I read that about this desire, I've seen a lot of people speculating on Twitter about, will they bring Game Pass to PlayStation. To be honest, I really don't think that this is going to happen. I think what Microsoft will bring on the table is the possibility to allow xCloud on PlayStation. With that, you kinda have Game Pass, but not really. So it is kind of a mixture there. This is could be something that I see. The thing is, a lot of people here talk about Call of Duty is obviously one of the big things why Microsoft did it. It is one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world. It is the best-selling game each and every year. When I looked through the list of games that were on the table, what Microsoft paid $70 billion for, it was kind of weird to me that Call of Duty is probably the only big console game right now that Activision is actively developing. Overwatch and Diablo are coming, we know that, but the last iterations, I mean, Diablo 3 came out on the 360. This is a 360 game, yeah. So we haven't seen an entry there a lot. Overwatch is also already kind of an old game. So yeah, those are definitely big IPs, but right now Activision is really focusing on Call of Duty and then a lot of PC stuff. We have, of course, World of Warcraft, and we have mobile stuff with King and Candy Crush and all these kind of games. So Microsoft really paid $70 billion for not just getting more games in Game Pass, because short term, let's face it, and with short term I mean the next, let's say, 4 to 5 years, they won't bring many big games in Game Pass. It's the yearly Call of Duty, yes, definitely, that's going to be a Game Pass game. Then we have Overwatch and Diablo coming in the next couple of years, and that's it. So it's really not about bringing a ton of new games to Game Pass on a short-term notice.
We're saying that, but in Microsoft, in Phil's statement as well, he did mention he's seen their pipeline of games and feature pipeline. So
it's exactly what I wanted to get at. They said that. What do you think? I mean, we've seen a lot of people talk about this already, because there were a couple of statements coming from Bobby Kotick himself, from I think Aaron Greenberg also spoke about it. They want to revive old classic IPs, but even if they do that, if they greenlight, for instance, I would love to have a new Pitfall game. If they greenlight that, the day the ink dries and the deal is officially sealed, which will be probably middle of 23, then it takes another 4 years until that game is developed and done and comes out. So it's really not about a big Game Pass growth. What do you think is the end goal? Why did they put $70 billion on the table if they don't bring that many games into Game Pass? Only a handful, admittedly, with Call of Duty, one of the biggest IPs out there. But they grow. But what are your thoughts before I give mine?
They've got a wealth. Obviously, they've got a wealth of IP, and dating back, I was even reminded of Soldier of Fortune the other day as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable game that I used to love on PC. I loved Soldier of Fortune. I was like, oh yes, I'd have another one of them in a heartbeat. That was just ridiculous, like blowing people's limbs off left, right, and center. It's like Call of Duty, but with gore.
True.
No, it was insane. But they've got a wealth of IP, dating back years, and some IPs that have been left alone, like the Guitar Hero franchise. Spyro's had the remastered, but it hasn't had a new one for a very long time. Crash Team Racing again had a remastered, but then hasn't had a new one for a very long time. Crash 4's only recently came out, so there's 4. Obviously, there's Hexen, like you said, down there. Mentioned obviously Soldier of Fortune, Crash Bandicoot. Obviously, then you've got Tenchu trilogy, the old Tenchu games. Just a wealth of IP that date back a very long time. The end goal, though, really isn't so much on the Xbox Well, I wouldn't say it's not on the Xbox because you're going to get IPs, but it isn't on the console side.
Yeah.
The main focus of that acquisition to me was more on the mobile aspect with King.
Yeah.
They really, and they mentioned this in there, mobile and cloud. And specifically for them, cloud and mobile is their big gateway into the Asian market.
Yeah.
And they are
Agreed.
really pushing hard on that Asian market because
Yeah.
America is big. Microsoft is actually the preferred platform in North America.
Yeah.
Whether or not you want to believe that or not, it is across
Yeah.
North America. It is the preferred platform. Underneath that, in Europe, PlayStation is still the preferred platform, although it
Yes,
is
it
getting
is.
a little bit better.
True.
But in Asia, that is now anybody's game. PlayStation still sells better. Xbox is doing a lot better, but ultimately mobile is king. It is absolutely king in Asian territory. And that is where Microsoft want to focus, getting xCloud, getting the mobile games, getting the cross kind of collaboration with mobile games, some of the older IPs, some of the things that might be sleeping at Xbox that they can do a mobile version of. Obviously, they've attempted it with Forza Street. They've done Gears Pop, so they've brought like little mobile games over before. So I
Yeah.
think they're going to get a few more of these types of things on there, as well as then enhancing the cloud proposition
Yeah.
in the Asian market.
Yeah,
I
I
think,
absolutely agree here. The thing is, you don't spend $70 billion just to bring a little bit more value into Game Pass.
yeah,
When you spend $70 billion, you want to grow your business. And you hit the nail on the head. When we look at the console market itself, that market is kind of saturated. Yeah. Of course, they will grow their Game Pass subscriber base, but they don't do that through console sales alone. They have to really grow the entire gaming
portfolio.
branch
Yeah,
portfolio. Yeah, we have like let's look at the last generation. We had what 120 million PlayStation 4 sold, and half of that, 60 to 70 million Xbox consoles, and then we have at the end of the last gen we had like 80 million switches and or something like that. Yeah, so you have there you go, you have your total amount of 250 to 300 million devices that you have out there in the console space, and that is maybe now shifting. Maybe PlayStation is going to sell a little bit less, Xbox is going to sell a little bit more, but overall the console market is not about to grow. Where you can really grow your gaming space is on PC and mobile, and especially in the Asian region where you don't have a foothold yet. Yeah. And I think that is the biggest move from them. They got with, of course, World of Warcraft, one of the biggest PC games still out there. It's a money printer still, even though the player base are going, or player numbers are going down. And with mobile, especially for the Asian market, and the combination then with xCloud, that's definitely their target. I agree there. Yeah.
I would also say as well, like specifically over there when they mentioned cloud and you mentioned PC and mobile, obviously the another thing about cloud, I think a lot of people still don't kind of realize this, is you don't have to have a mega PC to play on the cloud.
No.
You just need a web browser that's capable and a good internet connection. You don't need the best PC. You just need a PC. You just need something.
Okay.
So that then brings in somebody who might not have a lot of money but has a PC that they usually use for homework or something in the house. But it's like a really old graphics card. It really doesn't matter as long as they've got a good internet connection, like a wired one, preferably a good internet connection on a PC. They're good to go. And just plug in a controller and you're off. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, I think that is definitely one of the big things why they bought it. Outside, of course, Call of Duty is a big draw, no doubt. Hang on one sec. I want to give 2 shout outs real quick. The first goes out to Mock Student, who just became a channel member, as well as Crazy Louis Gaming. Both of them became a channel member. Thank you guys so much for the awesome support. All channel members can get early access to the videos I make and have custom access to custom emojis and badges here in chat. So thank you guys so much for that support. Really appreciate it. And a big shout out to the over 60 people here watching already live. That is really, really awesome. Guys, before we discuss a little bit more about this, I want to announce that I have a giveaway here today. I didn't put that out on social media because I really don't want people just to come in here to get a giveaway. I want the giveaway to go out to those who just come here to hang out and chat gaming.
Giveaway.
A sneaky giveaway. And I have a little tool. It's a premiere. I hope that works. So everyone can enter who's active in chat right now can enter this giveaway by typing in the chat simply hashtag WOG. Yeah. So if you enter this, like, let me type it real quick in the chat, the hashtag WOG. With that, you're automatically entered in the giveaway. I will give away a 20 euro or dollar a gift card for a store of your choice. That's either PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo. Although I have to admit, I have to figure out how to send gift cards via Nintendo, but we'll figure that out.
That's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Exactly. All right. So let's hope that this will work. Once everyone has typed that in, we will do that at the end of the show. Everyone has time enough to enter. I will mention it once or twice. If the tool works properly, it should collect all the names, and we will do a random draw or a random pick here at the end of the show. All right. Let's continue to talk about Xbox and Activision Blizzard. Yeah. So we talked about why they did it, why they want to grow it. We talked about exclusivity. I've seen a lot of controversy going on social media. And it put really the question in my head, is this deal really good for gamers? Is there any drawback, a negative for gamers? Like, I've seen people talk about monopoly, which I personally don't see why anyone would bring that up, but I've seen a lot of people. Others say, well, they are taking away beloved franchises from people that are familiar with or grew up with, like Crash Bandicoot is no longer on PlayStation, stuff like that. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is overall a good thing for gamers?
Yes, in the broader scale. No for hardcore console warriors.
Yeah, we don't count those in. We talk about gamers, not console warriors.
For gamers as a whole, you've got to think about this, and specifically people who are just looking to get into gaming in the first time. If you're looking at the value proposition of what this then brings to people going forward, Call of Duty's, if you're just going to spit on that specific franchise, will no longer be a $70 title, a £70 title, €70 title. Microsoft have really tried to stay away from charging that much for games. You have to have a look at just everything that's released from Xbox recently to see that they're still stuck on the 60 mark, and it will remain that way. Of course, they'll have the big bundles, and they'll have their expansions and their ultimate editions and things that are like 80, 90, 100. But first of all, it's gonna bring down the cost of these games across the board anyway. They're not going to be paying this next gen tax for absolutely no reason, because that stuff's done anyway. It shouldn't be expected that they pay more, but at the same time, that's because Microsoft can shoulder that cost more than smaller companies, and that's not to put a blight on Nintendo or Sony, because they aren't small companies. But in the grand scheme of things, the acquisition of Activision by Microsoft was in total more than the cost of Nintendo. They literally worth more than Nintendo. So they could have done that, but they didn't do that, of course, naturally. It's going to bring down the price of the games as a start. Secondly, the cost to get into any of these games for any new players is going to be substantially smaller, not just because the games are reducing, but then it's going directly into Game Pass on day one for these games, which would also mean that they don't have to purchase it. And if it's like me and probably Boxenberger and quite a few others, where we've kind of been put off Call of Duty for a number of years because we refuse to pay for something that is half-baked, or not really implemented or not really evolved over the previous one because they're annual releases, then we're more inclined to give it another go, being in Game Pass first before we decide to purchase anything to do with that game. And it also means that kids aren't going to have to worry about pocket money saving or anything like that to buy the new Call of Duty because it's going to be in Game Pass day one. Another brilliant aspect, of course, is that it's on several platforms. It's on mobile if you want to play it on cloud on the mobile. It's going to be on your PC if you want to play it on PC. It's going to be on console if you want to play it on console. And there's two versions of the console as well. The Series S has recently had its first price reduction in multiple territories, only by 20, but it brings it down $20 or £20 or €20, even though it sells out rapid. So it is also then the cheapest way to get into the next generation and Call of Duty. And then you're going to have bundles where it's probably going to be the same cost to buy a Series S with Call of Duty as it is just to get a Series S anyway. So it's going to be the cheapest way to get a kid his Christmas present and his console and a Call of Duty. It's going to be the cheapest way to get the next Call of Duty. And it's going to have more places to play than it was ever available. So instead of money hogging to one particular platform for an entire year, like PlayStation have done in the past, where Call of Duty is only on PlayStation for a number of months, if not a year. You're now going to have it on multiple platforms on day and date in Game Pass and on sale, cheaper than it was. And that goes along for every other title. So in the grand scheme of things, from specifically on a gamer's perspective, yes, it's tremendous for gaming. It's going to bring many positives. On a secondary positive, and a lot of people are still not looking at this aspect. And of course, a lot of people that still work there don't quite understand how these acquisitions work and why they weren't informed prior. But the acquisition by Microsoft, the ethos they have, and the internal way in which they work and support their staff, the way they look after their staff and their developers, is absolutely monumental for that company to actually heal and start being able to really move forward.
We get to that as well in a second. I think
that in itself though is amazing, because as in gaming as a whole, the last few months, Activision have put a massive black mark on gaming as a sector. It has been, because it hasn't just been us gamers that have known about this. It's been going in the court. It's been on national news in America. It's been on the news in BBC in the UK. It's everywhere, and it's obviously that's just a black stain on gaming in general. The inclusion of Microsoft now getting involved, purchasing this, and then being able to resolve those in the long run, it's going to repair the image of gaming as well. So two aspects. It's going to help all of the developers that are there currently, which in turn will make the mental health better for them, and then the game's better as a knock-on effect. They're going to be happier to work there. They're going to be more happy to go to work. More creative, more relaxed. And then on the other side effect for the gamers, you're getting the cheaper options. You're getting them day and date. You're getting them on multiple platforms. You don't have to worry about them not being on a specific platform unless you're on the blue side. Nintendo don't care. They literally would have looked at this and just went, okay, bye. Because it doesn't affect them. Like this deal does not affect Nintendo in the slightest. Yes, they got for the first time ever Crash Bandicoot and things, and a remastered
and Diablo
version.
is also on there, but I agree. They don't Nintendo is not affected that much.
But so as a whole, it's, in my opinion, it's positive, and I'd love to hear what you think about it as well.
Yeah, I also am in the same boat or similar boat than you are. I think in general we gamers can be happy for multiple reasons. Obviously, there's the money side of things. With Game Pass, we're all gonna save a lot of money when the games simply come there. I know also a lot of people who are simply casual gamers that just play Call of Duty and FIFA each and every year. They buy that's all they play. And I know one guy in particular who actually buys Call of Duty multiple times each year because then he wants to play on PC and then he wants to play on PlayStation with his friends, and he always has to buy multiple copies. So that definitely also helps. I think a lot of people to simply have this overlapping ecosystem, play the game wherever ever you want. That is definitely helpful, and of course with Game Pass we are gonna save a lot of money. Then there is of course the creativity side of things. I think Activision Blizzard, I get to the whole treatment of the staff in a second, but just in general, when you look at their IPs, we talked about it earlier. They have so many beloved IPs that they are not using right now. And I think a new management is very well needed, that we can get more creativity. Call of Duty used to be an awesome, really awesome shooter, but since they release the same game each and every year and just throw a different paint job on it, it hasn't done really much for me, at least.
Yeah. Well, like
And
this Vanguard, for instance, like
yeah,
it's futuristic World War II. Like it doesn't make much sense. Like they've got like weapon attachments on that just weren't
yeah.
around in World War II, like red dot sights and things like that. It's like
Exactly.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and you simply see that they ran out of creativity and new ideas, and I think they already talked about that they will give the teams more creative freedom to do what they want to do, and that will bring us back not just beloved IPs. Hopefully, we also get new IPs. We get more diverse games out of the Activision Blizzard realm, and that definitely is something good for gamers. Another point I want to bring up is competition. I People sometimes cheer for one side or the other and want to win one side, that either Sony, PlayStation want to win, quote unquote, the console war. I'm always say I want to have a level-headed race in between Sony and Microsoft. I want them to fight for my wallet. That's when I or we as gamers benefit the most from everything. And with this move, they definitely put pressure on Sony. And I think Sony is still bigger in terms of revenue, is still a bigger game publisher. That's why I don't get the whole monopoly discussion and everything. But it brings us to this point where Sony and cannot ignore Microsoft anymore, and they cannot ignore what they are doing for gamers right now. It is no secret that I was not really happy with how they started the generation. And I'm not talking about the games. They had some great launch games. Definitely the better launch lineup. But the entire messaging with everything that they lied about cross-gen and everything. And then the audacity to have to come out and increase the prices at the beginning of a generation when you actually want to win customers over. They really didn't care at all, because they simply could do that because they didn't see enough competition out there. And I think this is something that changes now. It is going to be really interesting to see when Sony lifts the curtain on their Spartacus subscription service. I don't think that they can do what they had originally planned. We heard the rumors about them not going to bring day and date games.
I think they have to now. I think they have to.
It's I don't know whether they bring day and date, but at least they have to bring a lot of value with it. They have to increase simply the value for PlayStation gamers. And that is the good thing about it. I think in the end, we all will benefit that from, because I don't think that Sony is doomed per se. I've seen that as well. Yeah, I don't think that this is the case either, because Sony has a big portfolio of awesome first-party content. and that's not going anywhere. That's still there. You still get the same games now on PlayStation, minus maybe Call of Duty and Diablo in a couple of years. But the overall gaming IPs will simply be the same. But Sony will have to reevaluate what they offer in terms of value to their gamers, and that is what I think is a good thing. Yeah, we have now a level-headed competition in between Sony and Microsoft, and that's where we gamers at the end will benefit from. So yeah, I think this is overall a good thing for us gamers, and I wish everyone would see that, because yeah, Activision Blizzard has not been very creative with their IPs over the last years, and this will definitely help them. And that brings us to the other thing that you already touched on, is the entire mismanagement and sexual harassment and all these awful things.
Even in terms of the studios, you've got to look at, they've had literally every studio, including Toys for Bob at some point, working on Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Everyone was doing Call of Duty now. Yeah, they're literally the guys that make Crash Bandicoot had to be a support studio for Call of Duty at some point. It's yeah, and to see that go away, it will be interesting to if Call of Duty will remain a yearly franchise. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a biannual, which I really hope that they do. Simply to give room for. If you think about this, on each Call of Duty, they have like 30 support studios. If they make this a biannual franchise now, they free up so much capacity that they can now use across the entire Xbox Game Studio portfolio. Yeah, they can bring over the playtesters that used to playtest Call of Duty games to playtest the new Wolfenstein or next Doom game or whatever. Yeah. This is what is happening now. And that is really exciting. Yeah, we shall see if they will keep that biannual. I want to touch briefly on the big challenge that Microsoft is facing now. They have 10,000 new employees.
Yeah,
that alone is, is
5,000 of which were Blizzard.
Yeah, exactly. So that alone is a very, very big challenge. You have to be able to handle that. That brings in so many
more than they had in total.
Yeah. Prior to Bethesda.
Yeah.
Prior to Bethesda, they had around about 2,500 employees over there. Then they got an additional 5,000 through Bethesda, and now they get another 10,000 through Activision Blizzard. That is ridiculous, and that is really a big challenge, especially when you consider how these studios were managed over the last years. With all the awful things that have been going on, we heard that about 60 plus managers have already been fired. I don't think that is enough, to be honest, to really root out a bad culture, that frat boy mentality that they had across multiple studios. That's not going away anywhere just overnight simply because Microsoft bought them. This is going to be really tough to weed that out and put a proper work culture there in place and put proper reporting systems for employees that they feel safe to report misconduct or stuff like that. That is a tough challenge. What do you make of this? I mean, it was my first impression, first thought when I read that. That's really good for the employees, because I think Activision Blizzard needed something disruptive like that. With Bobby Kotick just managing for the next couple of years, nothing would have really changed. They would have fired some people to have a good publicity, but that's about it. Actual change wouldn't have happened. I think this is a disruptive force, but it also brings a lot of challenges for Microsoft, and of course, you have to be able to manage and handle that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it is going to be tough. It's not going to get immediately better overnight. But the statement that Microsoft released, or shall we say Phil Spencer released, because it was his statement and he wanted to do all of the wording for it, which is great. And obviously, alongside the statement, then had the audio statement. But in that statement specifically, first of all, mentioned that Activision Blizzard will report directly to him upon close. He will be, obviously now with his new promotion of CEO of Microsoft Gaming, will be the man that all of Activision Blizzard report to. It won't be going to Matt Booty or Sarah Bond. They will just go straight past them, straight to him, which is a good start, which means he has oversee and final say on everything that goes on there. Doesn't leave that in anybody else's hands. He obviously understands the severity of the situation and just how much needs corrected, which is why he wants to be the sole man in charge of getting that ship right. Secondly, the statement on there as well, where they explicitly say we hold everybody accountable, whether that's the lowest of the low person that works there, all the way up until to the directors. You've all got to be singing on the same hymn sheet, and you've all got to be adhering to the guidelines we have in place at Microsoft. And if you don't, then essentially you will be canned. If you don't adhere to these regulations and rules that we have in place for a safe workplace, then you are gone. And that rigorous thing, I think, is going to take a little bit of time. And I think a lot of the people, the bad blood that's left there, will probably get a culture shock to themselves. I think the people that want it to change will be pleasantly surprised when things start to kick off and they notice that things are actually getting done about it. I think the people that have kind of managed to skirt getting found out or getting disciplined for what their actions are going to be are equally going to be shocked in a negative way, because I don't think they'll realize what's going to happen. This isn't a $60-70 billion organization you're working for now. This is a $2.3 trillion
company,
second most expensive and largest company in the world you're working for now, and they do not tolerate this, because anything that does anything to give them bad press, they severely detest. So they will not tolerate it, which is
they have a
really
complete different organization for compliance and everything.
They specifically, and you've got to think as well, like, unlike Activision Bethesda previously, Microsoft as an organization, and we've seen it with Phil's new title, CEO of Microsoft Gaming, they're obviously going to be doing things a little bit differently in terms of the gaming division now. That, to me, also sounds like it's going to be reported separately with just the sheer size, because that's now a $90 billion asset to Microsoft. That's a large chunk of their organization now, and it's not just a little kind of offshoot. So that's a big organization, and this is also a company that have government contracts, both in military and cloud. They have very strong connections to the governments, both in the US and in Europe. None of this stuff will be tolerated, both at governmental level or otherwise. So Microsoft will completely iron out these issues, but it won't be overnight. As you mentioned, like you say, it's deep rooted. It's an issue that's been going on a long time. It was good to see Mike Ybarra as one of the guys who's put out a statement already regarding Blizzard specifically, saying all of the things that they have in place already, and things that they're currently recruiting for in terms of compliance and support when it comes to reporting facilities, for calling out bad, but what they class as bad actors within the community and within the business. So it's a really positive statement from Mike Ybarra for the Blizzard section of that, at least, as well.
Seen that, I read that,
and I think that's, you know, what it is. The great thing about this as well for Phil and Matt Booty and everybody like that is the fact that Rod Ferguson and Mike Ybarra have been at Microsoft. They know how they work, and then they went to Blizzard and tried to turn the ship around as well at Blizzard, and then coming back to Microsoft. Phil's going to have the inside track on everything now, because he's just going to go, Mike, Rod, come here. What is truly
going on?
What has truly gone on inside of this company that we haven't heard of before?
And I think Mike Ibarra I mean, he's leading Blizzard. He has now a very good insight in how Microsoft obviously works. He has been there for many years. Now he has been for how long? 3 years, 4 years at Blizzard. So he's also uh, uh, well aware now what is going on there, how they work, how the organizational structure is there. And I think that this will definitely be the right hand for Phil. We know they have a close relationship. So yeah, let's hope that Microsoft can get that culture changed as soon as possible. I mean, it's gonna be a long time for the employees until they are officially part of Microsoft. That won't. What we hear now is
they've still got to grin and bear another 12 to 18 months of this, which I feel sorry for them for. And a lot of them don't understand the method of acquisition either, or the sheer scale of what happens and why they weren't informed first. If people who don't work with large organizations, of course, I've worked with PLCs in the past. Boxy, you work with a large organization. Acquisitions of this size, you don't tell staff first. It has to be reported to the city first. Staff find out later. It's unfortunate, but that's legal requirements dictate they have to report it to the city. They have to report it to regulators, etc. first. So therefore, it is public knowledge before it is internal knowledge.
True.
So I feel sorry for the staff that they weren't informed of anything and they feel like they're still no further forward. But I think they can be rest assured that going forward, things will be done. Whether they decide to stick by and put up with it for another 12 to 18 months is entirely up to them. And I wouldn't begrudge them thinking that they can't cope sitting in that for another 12 to 18 months, because it's such a horrible kind of workplace to have to put up with. I can't imagine being in an environment like that where you feel so like you don't want to be there, and that you're stressed and that you're not being appreciated, and that you're not valued or anything like that, and then having harassment on top of it. Like, I couldn't imagine having to sit in an environment day on day out for the next 12 to 18 months and have to just grin and bear it whilst waiting for the savior to take over and get those people out.
Let's hope that they will get change going, at least to some degree, before that happens. Because, like you said, it's a long time.
Bobby's mentioned the words, but as far as I'm concerned, his words are extremely hollow. So I don't him. I don't believe he's going to action anything. Personally,
well,
I think
Mike Ibarra put out a statement that they already tripled the people who look after
Mike's doing his
issues.
Job.
Yeah,
Mike's
I think on the Blizzard side, probably we are going to see that sooner than later. But let's hope that for the Activision as part of things, it also will go well. Let me just briefly catch up on some of these super chats here. The one came in from Thanaros. Thank you so much for the $5. Hopefully this acquisition becomes a revival of one of the oldest publisher with a rich story. And before I bring up a comment from Big Mad Mo, I also want to thank that is for basically touching on that subject. I also want to bring up Fatboy Horror here. Create an Uncharted type game and call it Pitfall. Yeah, exactly. That brings me to Big Mad Mo's comment. He asks, what are you both looking forward to see happen with the IPs and the teams? And what would you rather have them make? New IP or old one? What would you like to see? New IPs, old ones revived?
You know where it is? There's a couple of them. Obviously, when someone, and this was just the other day, someone mentioned Soldier of Fortune, and I was like, oh my God, yes, I want Soldier of Fortune. I want that revived immediately. I would love, first of all, I want Xbox to, specifically after this deal, start up the back compat stuff and get a lot of the old back compat stuff in. Guitar Hero immediately. I want Guitar Hero 3 and back compat. Yep.
Please.
But yeah, get that stuff. But obviously, then revive Guitar Hero. Don't make it Rock Band. Don't make it Guitar, whatever it was, where it turned into like 45 different things. Just Guitar Hero, just about the guitar like it used to be.
These nights when went to the university. We played that in our shared apartment all night long with
All
a
night,
lot of
yeah.
beer, a lot of pizza, and then we had these challenges. It was
Oh God,
good
yeah.
times, good times.
Last but not least for me, I want to see Toys for Bob make Banjo and Kazooie.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, for me, it's definitely Pitfall. I love the idea to have a 3D Uncharted kind of Pitfall game. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. But I also take a 2.5D Metroidvania kind of jump and run type of game. Pitfall. I love that franchise back in the days. As a strategy fan, I played so much Warcraft, especially Warcraft 3, one of my favorites of all time. That would be awesome to see that come back. Yeah, there's really a lot of stuff, but I also would simply like to have some new IPs. I think sometimes it can be hard for creatives to stick to a certain franchise,
You know what I would,
to stick to a certain lore.
I think
Yeah.
now they have the capabilities as well. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of people have been saying this for a very long time. We now have all of the IPs and a developer that has now revived a kart racing IP
Yeah.
to create a Microsoft IP kart racer.
Yeah.
You have the Crash Team Racing. If you could make that again, but then include all of the different things. You've got Marcus Phoenix in one of the trucks there. You've got Master Chief in a warthog zooming around the track. You know what I mean? It's such like create something like that. That would just be insane.
That would be awesome. I mean, it is what is going through my mind through the entire week is just the sheer possibilities of all these Xbox studios now working together. Can you imagine? Yeah. I mean, we know the Call of Duty engine originally originated from ITech. Yeah, it was ITech 3. It was a derivative of ITech 3 that engine originated off, but it got so many iterations and actually brand new versions of the engine that I don't think that the kernel is the same anymore. But can you imagine Call of Duty running now on ITech 7, 8 or whatever? That would be something. Yeah. The possibilities for ZeniMax Online. Having access to all the infrastructure that they built for World of Warcraft as well. But they merged those two games, but it's just the possibility of sharing technologies. That is
and IPs as well, like
IPs.
Activision and Bethesda. Activision and Blizzard employees should I think they should be feeling happy that they now have the potential of not just having to work on Activision IPs now. They can now, like Microsoft will go, okay, we've got a whole host of these IPs that we could revive here. Do you want to work on any of these?
Like Blizzard employees are making now Bethesda IPs or whatever, or old classic Rare IPs, or there's so much potential there, and it's really awesome to see. Let me bring up one last question for the whole Xbox Activision stuff before we talk about some smaller news items. I mean, every news is smaller than this, though. But there were actually a couple of smaller things that I would love to also briefly talk about that happened in the world of gaming. Pun intended. We know that the deal won't be through till probably summer next year. That's what they said. They target June next year, maybe a bit earlier. Maybe
financial year ending June, which means it could technically fall anywhere. It technically could even close this year.
Technically. I mean, Bethesda took like
it's probably
6
going to be
months.
the beginning of next year.
So we shall see. The interesting thing is that they said that they want to bring as many IPs or games as possible prior to that official deal to Game Pass. So my question to you, and of course everyone in chat here, is what games would you like to see ASAP in Game Pass coming from Activision Blizzard?
Well, that's easy. I mean, you know what it is? I own these anyway, because as soon as they were announced, I wanted them anyway. But the Crash Trilogy needs to go in Game Pass. Crash Bandicoot 4 needs to go in Game Pass. Spyro needs to go in Game Pass. Crash Team Racing needs to go in Game Pass. Naturally, we all want a Call of Duty, but I think contractual obligations and potentially some hitches there might prevent Call of Duties going into Game Pass until deals closed. But the back compat stuff, it's primarily them. So, Robert, all of them. Put them all in, immediately.
That's the easy answer.
if only. But yeah, for me, it's about getting some of the a lot of the smaller stuff in there. I think that could do with a little bit of a little sales kick or maybe a player boost, and that is like Crash 4 was a good game, but it just got overlooked and then people forgot about it in seconds. I think Crash 4 immediately in there, and that's a brand new Crash title. That's just been...
I haven't played that yet. I played the Crash trilogy actually on my Switch when it came out.
A really good port as well, actually.
Yeah, it kind of felt hard for me to get into it. I felt just the controls were a little bit outdated. But yeah, I would love, and that's why I didn't buy into Crash 4 when it came out, because I didn't know whether it's worth the 70 euros for me. But now I would love to try it in Game Pass, of course. I think what I also would love, of course, is the Call of Duty games. I'm not a big of Call of Duty fan per se, but I love to play through these campaigns. There's 5-6 hours campaigns. It's like good popcorn kino, popcorn cinema, big action pieces. It's always fun. I would love to play through some of them. And the other Activision Blizzard games that I'm really excited about, I already own one of them. You can already see here is, of course, Diablo, but I hope that everyone gets to play that. And Tony Hawk. I want to mention Tony Hawk because that is an IP I absolutely love.
I got that in a sale about probably about 2 months, maybe 2.5 months ago. I got it in a sale for something like, I think it was £15 or something, the Tony Hawk remastered version. I played about 20 minutes of it because I am terrible at that game now. I used to be awesome at it, and now I suck big time.
That's how everyone. I had that discussion with Ainsley from Season Gaming when it came out, because we were both big Tony Hawk fans and we played it, and then we felt like old guys, because we remember being really good at the game back in the days on a PlayStation, and now we just sucked. But once you get into it again, it will get better. And I was really when I played it for like 2 months straight when it came out. I was really able to do these awesome combos again and everything. So while we talk about that, I have to download it again. I have to play it probably over the weekend. It is.
I've got it downloaded. I just haven't played it for a bit because I turned it on and I got frustrated at myself because I was so bad. I was like, no, I'm turning it off.
Shout out to Mr. Joe in the Dark. He says, I love the filmic experience with Crash on Switch. Prior to the pandemic, I simply traveled a lot for work reasons and all kinds of reasons, and I played a lot on my Switch because of that, and that's why sometimes I just get the games on my Switch. I love it. All right. Final question on this topic of Activision Blizzard. Which game will be the first exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem coming from Blizzard or Activision Blizzard?
I think the first exclusive we'll see will either be later in 24, if not 25. It's going to be a while due to contractual obligations. But I think probably one of the first ones we'll see might end up being Call of Duty.
You think that's going to be the first exclusive?
I think one of them, mainly because it is as you mentioned earlier, it is one of the games that is most frequently worked on, but it's also the one that they put the most effort into. And I'm talking in terms of volume of people that they've got working on these titles. So I think the most likely to come out first will be a Call of Duty, where we may be surprised in potentially a new IP or something that they're reviving, as obviously Phil's alluding to. There's a pipeline of games that are in development that we are unaware of. So there might be something new there. There might be a brand new Tony Hawk's that we're unaware of that comes out first.
That would be cool.
There might be a brand new Spyro that comes out first that we're not aware of.
Right. The last one was also, well, I want to say 4 years ago, so could be.
And that was a remaster. That wasn't even a new Spyro, so it could be a brand new Spyro. It honestly could be. It could be anything, but in terms of what's most likely to come out in terms of its iterations, the most likely to be the first exclusive to me will be a Call of Duty.
Okay.
But I still stand on my hill, and I'll die on that hill. That Call of Duty
You die on that hill. You do that. All right. If I had to make a bet, I would say it's probably going to be either Overwatch or Diablo, depending on which comes out first. I think one of these two games will come out in 2023, and that will be the first exclusive Xbox ecosystem exclusive.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, like you mentioned with Starfield, and I think they'll probably be thinking the same thing about Diablo. They assumed, and PlayStation were still unaware up until the announcement that it was exclusive to Xbox, and obviously prior to that, they obviously had some kind of talks about a PlayStation version of Starfield. And I think obviously right now, I do believe as it stands, Diablo 4 is probably meant to be on everything. So it could, you're right, closer to the time, it could change. It depends on whether or not there is contractual obligations for that, because that's an announced game, isn't it, Diablo 4? So
it is announced, but we no marketing rights. I mean, Starfield has been announced prior to the acquisition, and now it's coming to exclusive.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6 has been announced prior to the acquisition, so I don't think that's the actual issue. And we don't know about any marketing deals as of yet. And coincidentally, a couple of weeks before the announcement of the acquisition, they delayed Overwatch and Diablo. So to 23, or they said that it won't. They won't come out this year. That's what was actually the release target. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Okay. Awesome discussion here about Xbox and Activision Blizzard. And I said, yes, I'm going to keep the show at around maximum 90 minutes. That would be right now. Although it's such a big news item that we have to go a bit over time here, if that's okay for you, brother.
Of course.
Yeah, and I just want to briefly remind everyone to participate in the giveaway. I'm giving away $20 as a gift card for either PlayStation, Xbox, or a Nintendo. To enter, you only have to type into the chat hashtag WOG, all small. Just type it in. I hope that tool works, because if not, we have to do something else to choose the winner. I have not tried that yet, because first time live here today. Okay, what else happened in the world of gaming this week? Some smaller news items. We got a couple of rumors about delays. Hogwarts Legacy, Redfall. Well, nothing has been confirmed yet, and Wizarding World Digital actually came out just yesterday and said that Hogwarts Legacy is still targeted for this year, that the rumor coming from Colin Moriarty is not true. We have heard on Defining Duke from Mr. Matty Blay and my good friend Lord Cognito, Redfall is maybe getting delayed to holiday, from summer to holiday. And we have already seen a couple of others got delayed over the last weeks. I want to ask you the question: do you think 2022 is going to be the continuation of 2020 and 21 with all these delays?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the final real section of delays we'll see. I still expect as well on the PlayStation side, God of War falling into 23. A lot of people might not see that, but I do honestly see it, because up until right now, we still don't have anything on it. We've seen a glimpse of gameplay, but no definitive release date or anything like that. And it is the release year already, and they don't have a definitive date on it. I think a lot of studios now are really reluctant to do that. Is give dates until they're absolutely certain that game is coming out in that year. which is probably one of the surprises we had when they announced Starfield. The fact that they announced an actual release date, a calendar date for that game, to us was surprising, because it was like, okay, one of the only studios we see in a pandemic are giving an actual date for a release 2 years out, pretty much. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be the last year we'll see it. In the UK specifically, the mandates as of next week are everyone return to the office, crack on as normal, no more masks, no more requirements for COVID passes, nothing like that. So as of next week, essentially the UK is pretty much returning to normality, as it were, in terms of a working sense. The studios and whoever it is that works in the UK, of course, it's entirely up to them how they operate, whether or not they continue to do a hybrid work from home, work from the office, or whether or not they all return to the office. I think a lot of the people want to return because they miss the interactivity with their colleagues.
Yeah, I
in
do.
a physical,
I'm one of
in
them.
a physical way, as opposed to just over Skype or over
Yeah.
Zoom or whatever it is they use, or
Yeah.
Teams.
Teams.
But yeah, I think it's probably going to be the last year we'll see it. I don't. In terms of Redfall, I think it might be a minor delay. I don't think it's going to get pushed back into the fall period where it would be interacting at all with the release of Starfield. I don't think they're going to let anything get near that game, because that's the biggest title that's come out of Bethesda in 25 years. So they're not gonna push Redfall into the path of a juggernaut. That's doomed for failure if they do that.
Probably that game has room to breathe if you release it like 6 weeks earlier, so at the beginning of October, something like that. I think that
then,
could
with
be
it
a
being
possibility.
a multiplayer game, it could kill it.
Yeah. The way I see it, I think we will see a couple of delays, but I think we will see smaller delays.
I think Redfall potentially might have released June,
summer
and
to
is
fall,
now July.
Yeah, exactly. These smaller delays, I don't think we will get these year delays again. At least not on a big scale. There will, of course, be 1-2 games that will get these kind of delays. But the thing really is that in the end, these games still have to be a business case, and you can't delay a game for 3 years. Then it's simply not a business case anymore. So at some point, you have to bring them out, and that's why I hope to see, of course, a couple or not that many delays, and I do hope that the time was then enough in the oven. Yeah, another thing that we have seen this week is a rumor that actually got me excited. It comes from Tom Henderson. For those who don't know him, he's got a pretty big follower base of 160,000 on Twitter, and at least as many on YouTube. He put out a statement that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order might release this fall. What do you think? It's the last year that EA has the license for Star Wars. I mean, they can, in theory, release Star Wars games at a later point, but not exclusively. So what do you think? Will we see that happening?
Yeah, I think so. I think because we've also, and I don't know whether or not you've got this in your topic, but we've also had the rumor that E3's entirely cancelled, as well as just the digital.
Yeah, well, that was 2 weeks ago. I just put in my show the weeks that happened this news that happened this week. But yeah, I agree. Please continue. We can talk about that.
Yeah, obviously, then EA at this E3, or at least the segment when they do their show, I think it could very well announce Fallen Order and coming out the latter part of the year. Yeah. 100%, and I wouldn't put it past them as well to really make because that game was a success in all shapes. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that you had to wear a rain mac for the entire thing, and you weren't allowed to dress as a Jedi. Like, at least in Jedi, the next one, Jedi Fallen Order 2, at least allow us to then encompass the Jedi and look like a Jedi, not just look like some guy that's stuck in a rain cloud all the time. But other than that, the gameplay was terrific. The platforming was great. The combat was good. The story was good. Cool. It was so well done, and I think that gave EA the kick up the arse to understand that single player games are still successful.
Yes,
if done correctly.
exactly. If they are done right, you don't
Yeah,
need to have microtransactions and stuff like that, and
yeah,
it doesn't have to be a live service game, and you don't have to use um for every game the same engine.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, Frostbite is used for FIFA, for Battlefield, for everything. It was used for Mass Effect Andromeda, yeah,
Yeah.
from massive open world RPGs to first person shooters to sports games. You don't have to use that engine for everything, and I think that really showed. And they have done a terrific job. That Jedi Fallen Order was my game of the year that year. I loved it.
Oh, it
So
was terrific. I absolutely loved it, to be honest. And I've yet to go and play it again with the next gen enhancement on it.
yeah, I
Um,
played about halfway through it with the next gen patch. It's still awesome and it plays better than ever before.
yeah,
So yeah, I do hope that this rumor is true, and it would only make sense. Again, it's the last year for EA to have exclusive Star Wars rights.
yeah,
And when you look back at the last 10 years, they really didn't do much with it. They
nope,
released the two Battlefront games. They released Rogue's what was it? Squadrons,
yeah,
Rogue Squadron, and they released well, the one good one, really good one, Jedi Fallen Order, but that's really not much for such a big IP.
yeah,
So yeah, I think it could happen. It's been 3 years.
yeah.
And apparently they started to work on the sequel prior to the launch of the first one. So we shall see. We shall see. Wondering, Dutch, you're still playing Halo?
I'm dropping in and out of it, but that's because no one ever benchmark what I'm playing against anybody else because I've got gaming ADHD at the best of times. So one day
Yeah,
I'll be playing Halo, the next day I'll be playing Fortnite, the next day I'll be playing PUBG, then I'll be playing Red
you
Dead,
see.
then I'll be playing Age of Empires. Like I could play 17 games in the space of 3 days. Like
That's crazy. Okay, because everyone who still plays Halo,
yeah,
admittedly, I haven't played for the last week or so. It's been at least a week I haven't played it, but there's some good news happening. Changes to the Halo Infinite store are coming. We get
yes.
more value for our buck when you
Yeah,
buy
they've really
cosmetic
dropped the
stuff.
price of things now.
Yes, on January 18th, that drop happened. So cosmetics are now way cheaper. But the thing that made me happy to hear is that they apparently put out a hotfix for Big Team Battle.
They did. I've got a little bit of an update on that one actually for you. So
Yeah,
they applied the hotfix. It didn't work.
it did not.
It
Okay.
did not work. No. They've Brian Gerard. You will have seen him post before. He put out a post saying, "Sorry, like the patch didn't work. We're gonna have to do a little bit more on this one, specifically for the big team battle. The other
Okay.
improvements to the game and the store and things were fine, but big team battles patch didn't go to plan.
Yeah.
So there's still room to fix that one. There's still issues, but he was notably disappointed there that it hadn't fixed what they thought it would fix. But there is a patching coming swiftly. They are working on it.
Okay. That's good to hear. That's good to hear because I only heard that the patch is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we had some other smaller news before we wrap this show up. Have you seen a couple of those awesome looking trailers that came out this week? We had an awesome trailer for Lego Star Wars. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Have you played the Lego games?
I have played some of them previously. It's been a long time since I've played a Lego game. I think Pirates of the Caribbean Lego was probably one of the last ones I played, and that was awesome. But I think that was the last Lego game I've played. But I'm looking forward to this because the Lego franchised games like that and the collections like the Harry Potter ones and the Star Wars and Pirates of the Caribbean, they do a really good job of them. They're like little comedy sections in there, and
Yeah.
you've got to use your brain to get through some of the puzzles and find the correct part. And they are absolutely
Yeah.
awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
I played a ton of Lego games on the 360 back in the days. That was before I had kids, and I was playing a lot more couch co-op with my friends than I do now. it's just because we all have kids now. It's more difficult. But we used to get drunk and play a lot of Lego games, from Harry Potter to it. But I haven't played, I think, through the Xbox One generation and a Lego game, to be honest. And when I saw that trailer, I thought, oh man, that really looks good. So I highly recommend everyone to check that trailer out. That really looked awesome. And another awesome looking trailer was released this week, a story trailer for Horizon Forbidden West. Have you seen that?
I have indeed, yes, I have. The only thing I've got is you're one of the lucky guys. You're the only one in our group that has got a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
I historically, as people know, I had one on pre-order, cancelled it, let it go to somebody else. Obviously, the financial cost of getting a Series X and a PS5 in the same month, it's astronomical. On top of everything that goes along with them, but that being said, I do have a PlayStation 4 Pro. However, my issue with that is that it's so loud, it's so unbearably loud, even after cleaning it, that it takes away from the experience of playing the games. It's to the point where I have not turned it on specifically to finish playing some games I want to finish playing, because I can't enjoy them with the noise. I have to wear headphones all the time. I can't just listen to it on speakers. And even with the headphones, I've got to have it cranked up to the top, just to block out the noise.
It is a loud console. So I remember too well.
As much as I would love to play Horizon Forbidden West on launch, I'm waiting until I get a PlayStation 5 to play it, because I refuse to turn that thing on again.
That's something I can totally understand, and I think even though it will run on the PlayStation 4 and PS4 Pro, of course, I think this game is meant to be played on PS5 or probably a year after launch on PC. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait to play it. Everyone who is in chat and wants to pre-order it, I'm
just going to be jealous. I'm just going to be extremely jealous. And whilst you're playing that on the PlayStation 5, I'll just continue to play Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC. In nice creases.
That sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan.
Wishing it was Forbidden West.
I'll spam the hell out of Twitter with screenshots once that game comes out. And for everyone who wants to pre-order, you can actually save some money. Shout out to Jay, who is also in chat. He brought that to my attention. When you pre-order the PS4 version, you get the free PS5 upgrade, but the PS4 version is $10 less. So definitely go for that. If you plan to get that. Okay. I think I have one more topic I would like to bring up before we wrap it up and go to the giveaway. Again, everyone who wants to participate, put hashtag WOG in chat. Sony has put out something this week. They open up the console buy registration for the PS5 in Europe. They have that already in the US, but it's now available in 7 different countries across Europe, UK, Germany, and a couple of other ones. So basically what you have to do is you have to have your PlayStation account, sign in, and then you can register to purchase a PS5 through Sony directly. Of course, that is the reason behind that is they don't want to go have all the scalpers get the consoles, and I wanted to bring that up because, well, obviously as an information for those who missed it, but other than that, I want to discuss with you briefly. Scalpers are still a big issue. We had also a report this week from a guy who was interviewed. He actually has a service for scalpers. He forwards consoles to different scalpers. So he's not selling the consoles themselves. He just gives them the heads up for where do you get them and so on. And he has made a business out of this, making more than close to $50,000 a month just by recommending scalpers where to get their consoles. So when I saw that from Sony, I thought that's a good thing. And I wanted to discuss it with you. Console availability is still an issue. We have still a
Yes.
global shortage. It's going to continue, unfortunately, throughout 2022 and well into 2023. And scalpers are a real thing. If you want to get a PS5 or an Xbox these days, it's a mess. Yeah, on eBay, most PS5s go for around $1,000. That's really ridiculous when you think about the 500 euro or dollar actual retail price. Do you think the system from Sony is a good thing, and should other, in that case, Microsoft, copy that idea to have your gamer tag attached to your account to be able to purchase a console? What do you think?
I think obviously it's two ways, because they're not stopping selling it via traditional routes,
Yeah.
and Microsoft do sell it on the platform as well.
They
I
have
think
their own store. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So it should be actually easy for them to attach it and only sell to existing gaming accounts.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that they're doing a little bit better is, I think you've got to have a certain amount of time on the platform to be able to purchase.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't know whether or not someone in chat might be able to correct me if I'm wrong. I think Microsoft might also do that on their side, where you have to have a history or a purchase history on Xbox/Microsoft to be able to purchase a console through them as well. Or at least with pre-orders, you did. With pre-orders, you did originally.
I don't think so. I double checked on the Microsoft side of things, that was not in place. The only other company that has something similar in place is Steam with the Steam Deck.
Right.
There you had to have like one purchase in the last 12 months or something like that on your account in order to be able to purchase it. But on the Microsoft side of things, scalpers could have picked it up.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, there'll still be ways around this for scalpers. Scalpers aren't. They've always got a way around this. So they'll have multiple Sony things. What they'll do is they'll just set them all up. Specifically scalpers, set a load of accounts up, pre-register all of them. Even if they need to make a small purchase, that's not going to bother them, because they're making fortunes off selling high-cost PlayStations. So they make small purchases to have a purchase history on the platform, and then within the time that they go on sale, which would be a matter of 6 weeks to 2 months or whatever it is, by the time the availability comes in, they'll be able to do it again. So it's going to slow down the process for scalpers. It's certainly going to make it more difficult for them, but it's not going to stop them. I think it's difficult to stop scalpers until the only thing that's going to stop scalpers inordinately is availability. When it becomes more readily available, then scalpers don't stand a chance. All of their stock is going to plummet, and they're going to be left with loads of units that they're going to have to sell at cost price or just above cost price. Yep. In which case, then they're just going to make a loss. So until then, I just say to everybody, don't give in to FOMO. As much as you might want a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X, wait. Don't give scalpers your money. Just wait. Or if you're on Xbox and you want something until Series X gets by, Series S is tremendous. Get a Series S.
It is. It is a fantastic console. And I think especially... I don't want to open up an entire new topic, but especially with the acquisition of Activision, where Microsoft basically bought a bunch of casual gamer IPs, like Call of Duty, like Candy Crush, like World of Warcraft. These are for also for gamers that are just casual gamers that don't play much other games or many other games. The Series S now looks more attractive than ever. Okay. Yeah, that brings us already to the end of this show. Again, a big thank you for everyone who came into chat, everyone who participated here in the discussions. It's awesome. Now it's time to draw our winner for the giveaway. Hang on real quick. I want to share my screen. So like this. It's so if you haven't entered just yet, please type into the chat hashtag WOG. I'll give it another, like, let's say 10 seconds, and then I will start collecting the comments, and fingers crossed that this tool actually works, because I've seen a lot of people here participating, which is awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Let's hit that button here. We have only like 8 entries. That is really weird. It might be that because a couple of people wrote it with big letters.
Lowercase WOG, lowercase hashtag
Let
WOG.
Exactly. So let's try this one more time. Let's everyone who wants to participate with all letters small, hashtag WOG. Write everything small. Who wants to participate? Let's give this another try in a few seconds and give everyone the chance, because we have here a lot of people like Bezat, Robert, HTK, Hertog Win, Outbreak Podcast, Paul AFC. They all typed it with big letters. If I go through the chat, and
everyone who's listening, there's still another 41 of you. Hashtag WOG lowercase.
Exactly. So, all right. Yeah, you know what? You can give your outro while we still wait. Let people know where they can find you.
Certainly. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm again honoured that you asked us to be on this first show, and what a topic we had to start off with. What a topic! We couldn't have asked for a better topic for the first show. I only pray and hope for you, brother, that the topics are going to be as interesting going forward for future guests. But no,
true.
I really hope from me to you all the success with your new show and podcast.
Appreciate
I really
that.
hope
Thank you.
It goes well. And no doubt it will. Obviously, you're a great guy. You've got an unbelievable channel, really great work ethic, and amazing content. So salute to you, and all the best for this show going forward. It's been awesome being here today. But yes,
thank you for taking the time. You were my first ask when I thought, who do I get first? I have to get you, such a positive guy in the community, such a well-spoken, well-educated gamer, and part of this community. So I couldn't have chosen a better guest to join me here for the first show. So thank you.
Cheers, brother. But yes, you can find me, of course, on Twitter at Wondering Dutch and on YouTube at Wondering Dutch as well. The home, of course, of the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, which Boxenberger is also a part of.
Indeed, I am.
We also have a secondary show as well on the weekends, much like this one, a 2-man show. Of course, unlike Boxenberger's, where he has nice rotating guests every week, this one for myself is fixed with myself and the General C, and it's on a Sunday evening. So when you've got nothing to do and you're winding down after a long week, bitterly disappointed that your gaming is going to be over soon and you have to go back to work. We've got a nice relaxing podcast for you to chill out to and kind of wrap up the weekly news, and also some of the smaller articles that might not have been covered. But yeah, massive shout out to the chat, everybody that's been watching today and coming to support Boxy. Unbelievable support from all of you. I hope you have an awesome evening. Again, a massive thank you to you, Boxy, for having me today.
No, I have to thank you. The honor was all mine, and everyone who can find him or doesn't know where to find him, all his links to his YouTube channel, to his socials, are in the description of this show. So just click in the description and you find everything to get to Wondering Dutch. Okay, let's give this giveaway another chance. I've seen a lot of people have entered now. We start to collect again. Now we have a lot more entries here, which is awesome. And then let's see what the random generator will bring out here. And the winner is Deploy. Awesome. Congratulations, brother. Please do me a favor. Get in touch with me on Twitter. Just write me in the DMs, and then we make it happen. Let me know what you want, whether you want an Xbox. I assume you will want an Xbox code. But it's up to you. It could also be a PlayStation or a Nintendo code. Congratulations to Deploy. Thank you, everyone, for turning up here today. It's been an awesome show. Yes, Dutch is absolutely right. It will be hard to continue with such amazing news when you have a week like that, with such an insane thing happening in the world of gaming. But gaming is something amazing, and there's always something exciting to talk about, and that's what we are going to continue to do here each and every Friday, 8 p.m. Central Europe time, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 11 a.m. PT. So again, thanks to everyone here in chat. Thank you for the amazing super chats and becoming channel members. It was really, really a pleasure. And I can't wait to see you guys next week again. Have a great weekend, everyone. Play some games, relax, and I see you next week. Thank you, guys.